Imagine waking up to the sound of your phone buzzing. It's an email from work, a text from a friend asking for a favor, a notification about a sale you don't really care about, and a calendar reminder for a meeting you don't even remember scheduling. Before you even step out of bed, you're already drowning in a sea of obligations, distractions, and noise. Hey everyone, I'm Bix, and welcome to Bix Book Summary. Today, we're diving into Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg McKeown. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, stretched too thin, or like you're running in circles but not really getting anywhere, this book is for you. McKeown's message is simple but life-changing. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Greg McKeown calls it the undisciplined pursuit of more. We say yes to everything: work assignments, social gatherings, last-minute requests, without stopping to ask ourselves, is this really important? We confuse being busy with being productive. We pile our plates with tasks, thinking that the more we do, the more valuable we become. But instead of feeling accomplished, we feel exhausted, scattered, and overwhelmed. McKeown shares a personal story that became his wake-up call. He was at the hospital, holding his newborn daughter in his arms. Then his phone buzzed with a work request, something that didn't actually matter but felt urgent. Instead of staying by his wife's side, he left for the meeting, convincing himself that he had to be there. Later, he realized he'd missed a once-in-a-lifetime moment, not because he wanted to, but because he was caught in the trap of trying to do it all. This was the moment he started to rethink his approach to life and work. And that's what Essentialism is all about. It's about questioning the automatic yes we give to everything and everyone. It's about pausing to ask ourselves, what is truly essential? What if, instead of trying to do more, we focused on doing less but better? What if we learned to say no to the trivial many so we could focus on the vital few? McKeown tells us that it all starts with a simple yet profound shift in mindset. Instead of asking, how can I do it all? We begin to ask, what is the most important thing I can do right now? It's about cutting through the noise, the distractions, and the obligations that don't actually serve us, so we can dedicate our time and energy to what really matters. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how to discern what's truly essential and how to filter out the distractions that keep us trapped in the cycle of more. Stay with me. This is where things get real. Picture this. You're standing in front of a buffet. The table is overflowing with dishes. Some look mouth-watering, some look mediocre, and some are things you don't even like. You feel pressured to fill your plate, to try everything, to get your money's worth. But what if you could only pick 3 things? What would you choose? That's the essence of Essentialism. It's about learning to say no to most things so you can say yes to the right things. Greg McKeown calls it the disciplined pursuit of less. It's not about doing less for the sake of doing less. It's about doing less but better. It's about making a deliberate choice to focus on the things that matter most and letting go of the rest. McKeown shares a story that perfectly illustrates this idea. He talks about Cynthia, a woman whose life was a whirlwind of yeses, meetings, projects, favors, you name it. Her calendar was packed, and she was constantly running from one commitment to another. She was busy, but she wasn't truly productive. One day, Cynthia decided to step back and take a hard look at her schedule. She asked herself one simple question. If I could only keep one project, which one would it be? That one question changed everything. It forced her to prioritize the vital few over the trivial many. Instead of trying to be everything to everyone, she started focusing on projects that aligned with her most important goals. And as she did, something remarkable happened. Her stress levels dropped, her work quality improved, and she actually started to feel more fulfilled. McKeown teaches us that the path to Essentialism is paved with ruthless prioritization. It's about asking yourself, is this the highest and best use of my time? If the answer is no, then it's time to say no. But saying no is easier said than done, right? We worry about disappointing people, missing out on opportunities, or being seen as unhelpful. McKeown addresses this head-on, reminding us that every time we say yes to something unimportant, we're actually saying no to something important. Imagine your time as a finite resource, like a jar of marbles. Every time you say yes to a non-essential task, you're giving away a marble. But when you run out of marbles, you can't give any more, even to the things that truly matter. McKeown's message is clear. Stop spending your marbles on things that don't align with your goals. Instead, invest them in the projects, people, and activities that move you closer to where you want to be. And here's a powerful takeaway. When you say no to the trivial many, you're actually saying yes to the vital few. You're saying yes to your health, your relationships, your passion projects, and your personal growth. You're saying yes to what truly matters. So, in the next part, we'll talk about how to master the art of saying no without guilt or fear. Stay with me. This is where essentialism becomes a way of life. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a crowded room. People are pulling at you from every direction. Someone wants you to take on a project, another asks for a quick favor, and yet another invites you to a last-minute meeting. You feel the pressure to say yes, to accommodate everyone, to be liked, to be seen as helpful. But with every yes, you feel a little piece of yourself slipping away. McKeown shares the story of a successful businesswoman who found herself constantly saying yes to requests that weren't aligned with her goals. One day, she realized her schedule was packed with commitments that felt urgent but weren't truly important. She decided to experiment with saying no more often, but she didn't want to come across as rude or dismissive. So she developed a strategy, a polite but firm way of declining requests. Instead of just saying, "No, I can't," she started saying, "I'd love to help, but I'm currently focused on a few key priorities right now." This simple response was powerful. It communicated that her time was valuable, her focus was intentional, and her boundaries were clear. McKeown calls this approach the graceful no. It's not about being abrupt or dismissive. It's about being respectful of both your time and the other person's needs. You can express appreciation, acknowledge the request, and still decline it without feeling guilty. But why do we feel so guilty about saying no in the first place? McKeown suggests that we often overestimate the impact of our no. We imagine that the other person will be offended, disappointed, or even angry. But in reality, people are usually more understanding than we expect. As McKeown puts it, we can say no and regret it for a few minutes, or we can say yes and regret it for days, weeks, months, or even years. Think about it. When was the last time someone said no to you in a respectful, considerate way? Did you feel angry, or did you simply move on? Chances are it wasn't a big deal, and yet when it's our turn to say no, we catastrophize the outcome. McKeown encourages us to remember that saying no to one thing is actually saying yes to something more important. Every no is a trade-off, a chance to protect your time, energy, and focus for what truly matters. And that's where the no-but approach comes in. Instead of just saying no, you can offer an alternative. For example, instead of saying, "No, I can't attend that meeting," you could say, "No, but I'd be happy to review the meeting notes and provide my input afterward." This way, you're still being helpful without compromising your own priorities. You're setting a boundary without burning bridges. In the end, McKeown reminds us that learning to say no isn't about being selfish or unkind. It's about being intentional. It's about taking back control of your time and making conscious choices about how you spend it. It's about remembering every yes to a non-essential is a no to something that could change your life. So in the next part, we're going to explore how to create a system that helps you stay focused on what matters most, even when the world around you is pulling you in a million directions. Stay with me. This is where essentialism becomes not just a mindset, but a way of living. Imagine you're building a house. You have a blank canvas, a foundation, and a set of tools. But instead of carefully planning what to include, you start collecting random pieces of furniture, decor, and gadgets that catch your eye. Before you know it, the house is cluttered, chaotic, and completely misaligned with your original vision. McKeown tells the story of Jim Collins, a best-selling author and business strategist. Collins was once overwhelmed by endless speaking requests, meetings, and projects. He was saying yes to everything, feeling pulled in too many directions and losing sight of what truly mattered. One day, he decided to make a drastic change. He pulled out a blank calendar and blocked out 50% of his time for thinking, writing, and reflecting. He called it his creative white space, uninterrupted time to focus on his highest priorities. This wasn't just a scheduling tactic, it was a commitment to protecting what mattered most. McKeown emphasizes that essentialism isn't just about making a few good choices. It's about designing a life that consistently aligns with those choices. It's about building systems and routines that support your focus and eliminate distractions. Think of your life as a garden. If you don't tend to it, weeds will grow. Weeds are those non-essential tasks, obligations, and distractions that creep in and choke out what you really want to nurture. McKeown suggests 3 powerful practices to keep your garden clear of weeds. 1. Buffer your time. Imagine you're driving to a meeting across town. You estimate it will take 30 minutes, so you leave exactly 30 minutes before the meeting starts. But then you hit traffic. You're late, stressed, and rushing. Now imagine you leave 45 minutes early instead. You arrive with time to spare, feeling calm and collected. That extra 15 minutes was your buffer. McKeown calls it creating space to think. It's about planning for unexpected delays, interruptions, and setbacks so you don't get thrown off track. 2. Eliminate before you add. Picture your closet overflowing with clothes, many of which you never wear. You decide to buy a new shirt, but instead of getting rid of something old, you just cram it in. Now the closet is even more chaotic. McKeown teaches us to adopt a one-in, one-out policy. Before adding something new to your life, whether it's a project, a commitment, or a task, ask yourself, what can I eliminate first? This keeps your mental space clear and focused. 3. Build routines around essentials. Think of your day as a blank canvas. If you don't create a structure, other people's priorities will fill it for you. McKeown recommends establishing daily routines that reinforce what matters most. For instance, if deep work is a priority, block out 2 hours each morning for focused, uninterrupted time. If health is essential, schedule your workouts like important meetings. The goal is to make the essential activities automatic, so you're not constantly making decisions about them. McKeown reminds us that the key to essentialism isn't just identifying what matters, it's creating systems that protect it. It's about being proactive, not reactive. It's about building habits and routines that align with your priorities so you don't have to think twice about them. And here's the powerful takeaway. Essentialism isn't a one-time choice. It's a continuous process. It's about regularly evaluating your commitments, eliminating what no longer serves you, and designing a life that supports your highest point of contribution. In the next part, we're going to explore how to handle unexpected requests and distractions without losing focus on what truly matters. Stay with me. This is where essentialism becomes a shield against the chaos of life. Imagine you're deep in the middle of a project that's been on your mind for weeks. You're in the zone, completely immersed and making real progress. Then your phone buzzes. It's a notification. You glance at it for just a second, and just like that, the flow is broken. Your focus is shattered, and getting back to that deep, productive state feels almost impossible. McKeown tells the story of an entrepreneur who was struggling to finish a book he'd been working on for years. Every time he sat down to write, his phone would light up with messages, emails, and notifications. He tried to resist the urge to check them, but it was a losing battle. Finally, he decided to take drastic action. He turned off all notifications, put his phone in another room, and set a strict boundary. No checking messages until he completed 2 hours of focused writing. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable. The itch to check his phone was intense. But over time, he noticed something incredible. He was producing more work in those 2 hours than he used to accomplish in an entire day. McKeown calls this practice protecting the asset. And the asset he's referring to is your focus. In a world filled with distractions, your ability to concentrate has become one of your most valuable resources. But protecting it requires conscious effort. So how do we guard our focus without feeling like we're missing out? McKeown suggests 3 powerful strategies. 1. Create boundaries around your time. Imagine you're in a meeting with a high-profile client. Would you take out your phone and start checking Instagram? Probably not. You've set a boundary. This time is reserved for the client. Now imagine treating your personal priorities with the same level of respect. If writing, learning, or working out is important to you, block that time out on your calendar like a sacred appointment. Close the door. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Communicate to others that you're unavailable during this time. 2. Adopt the 20-second rule. There's a concept McKeown shares called the 20-second rule. It's about making distractions harder to access and essential tasks easier to start. For example, if you're easily tempted to scroll through social media, delete the apps or hide them on a separate screen. Make it take 20 seconds longer to access them. That extra friction can be enough to deter you from mindless scrolling. On the flip side, if reading is an essential task you want to prioritize, keep a book by your bedside or on your desk. Reduce the resistance so that starting the task takes less than 20 seconds. 3. Designate a no-interruption zone. Think of your workspace as a fortress. When you're in it, you're in deep work mode. No distractions allowed. McKeown suggests setting a timer for focused work sessions. 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever works for you. During that time, eliminate all possible interruptions. Close your email tab, silence your phone, and let people know you're unavailable. Once the timer goes off, take a break. Check your messages, stretch, recharge, then dive back in. The goal isn't to be unreachable all day. It's to create intentional pockets of focus where you can truly immerse yourself in what matters. Here's a powerful takeaway McKeown shares. Every time you allow a distraction to pull you away from your work, you're giving away a piece of your life that you can never get back. Essentialism isn't just about doing less. It's about protecting your ability to do deep, meaningful work without being pulled in 1,000 directions. It's about learning to say no to interruptions so you can say yes to what truly matters. In the next part, we're going to explore how to make essentialism a daily practice, how to stay consistent even when life gets chaotic. Stay with me. This is where essentialism becomes a way of being, not just a strategy. Imagine waking up every morning with a clear, focused mind. Instead of diving straight into emails, notifications, and to-do lists, you take a moment to pause, breathe, and ask yourself one simple question. What is the most important thing I need to accomplish today? McKeown shares the story of a CEO who was known for being intensely focused and disciplined. Every morning, he would start his day with a 30-minute reflection session. No phone, no meetings, no distractions. He would sit quietly with a notebook and ask himself, what is the one thing I must do today to move closer to my goals? This single question became his compass, cutting through the noise and bringing clarity to his day. McKeown calls this practice designing a routine that supports what matters. It's not about having a perfect schedule or micromanaging every minute. It's about creating intentional rituals that keep you grounded, focused, and aligned with your priorities. Here are 3 powerful rituals McKeown suggests to make essentialism a part of your daily life. 1. The morning clarity session. Picture yourself waking up and grabbing your phone first thing. You scroll through emails, check messages, and instantly get pulled into other people's agendas. Your mind is scattered before the day even begins. Now, imagine starting your day differently. You wake up, sit down with a notebook, and ask yourself, what is the single most important thing I need to accomplish today? This isn't about creating a to-do list. It's about choosing one essential task, the one that aligns with your long-term goals and will move the needle forward. This morning clarity session is your anchor, setting the tone for the day and giving you a focal point, so even if distractions come up, you know exactly where to direct your energy. Think of your mind as a computer with too many tabs open. By the end of the day, your brain is overloaded with unfinished tasks, unanswered emails, and lingering thoughts. That mental clutter keeps you from truly unwinding and being present. McKeown suggests ending each day with a quick 10-minute review. Grab a pen and paper or open a journal. Write down 3 things. What did I accomplish today? What distracted me from my essential task? What will I focus on tomorrow? This practice isn't about beating yourself up over what didn't get done. It's about learning from the day, letting go of the mental clutter, and resetting your focus for tomorrow. 3. The weekly recalibration. Imagine driving a car without ever checking the fuel gauge or the GPS. You might be moving forward, but you could also be running out of fuel or heading in the wrong direction. McKeown recommends setting aside time each week to recalibrate. This is your chance to zoom out, review your priorities, and adjust your course. Ask yourself, what went well this week? What felt like a distraction or a waste of time? What do I need to say no to next week? What essential tasks need my attention? The goal isn't to plan every minute of your week, but to ensure that your actions are aligned with your long-term vision. It's about making sure that the way you're spending your time is moving you closer to what truly matters. McKeown emphasizes that essentialism isn't about perfection. It's about progress, It's about making small, intentional choices every day that add up to a life of clarity, focus, and purpose. And here's the powerful takeaway. The disciplined pursuit of less isn't a single decision. It's a series of small, consistent actions that become your new way of being. It's about choosing what matters over what's urgent. It's about protecting your time, energy, and attention like the valuable resources they are. So as we close this book, remember, you don't have to do it all to have it all. The key to living a life of meaning isn't more, it's less, but better. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Bix Book Summary. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the practice of essentialism, the link to the book is in the description below. Until next time, stay focused, stay intentional, and keep pursuing what truly matters. See you in the next one.